People totally see me. Are we on? Are we on? Low bandwidth. I don't want to hear it, Susan. I don't want to hear low bandwidth, Susan. Are we on? All right. Low bandwidth. I don't want to hear it, Susan. Okay. It's telling me low bandwidth. I know I don't have low bandwidth, so. All right. All right. Welcome in, everybody, to the live stream discussion about the Idle Pearl and Winter Solid. Hope everybody liked the premieres. I actually had quite a bit of fun. This was a kind of a new thing that YouTube just came out with. I thought I'd try it because I saw that, Deviate tried it with Poison 2 or 3 days ago, and that video still didn't even have 1,000 views yet. So we had to beat it, and these videos will have like 1,000 views before I even go to bed tonight. So let's see, Lane. Let's answer a couple questions. We have to start by saying that Ryan Ford is missing the live stream due to him having the lead in Princess and the Pea. So, congratulations, I suppose, Ryan. I think. What's up, Brandon? Igor, Lane Shined Idle. Oh, don't whine at me, Susan. I don't want to hear it. Lane Shined Idle. Yeah, I know. It's telling me I have low bandwidth. I'm doing 3 megabytes per second, and I have 30 megabytes per second up, so I don't want to hear it. Lane Shine Idle or Sanded Idle Pearl, what's your opinion on both? I love my Lane Shine Idle. I love my Fresh Cover Idle. The Sanded Idle Pearl worked better for me, but I think that the Idle Pearl is quite a bit better of a ball than it looked for me, especially at Westridge. It looked a whole lot better at the second house, but I think that it's a lot better ball if you watch Tamer's video. He's already got his video up. It went up a couple hours ago. His looks much better than mine does. I don't have Angel's video done yet. I'm going to start editing that after we're done with this here. I'm doing commentary and running a live stream for a collegiate tournament this weekend, and so I barely had time to get my videos done yesterday, and then I haven't had a chance to start working on hers yet. So as soon as we're done with the live stream here, I'm going to go start working on her video. Hopefully I can have that out tomorrow night. But her Idle Pearl looks significantly better than mine does. So I think it's a thing with the new layout that I'm doing. The new layout's got my got the pin in the ring finger, and I think I kind of got faked out because the first couple balls I used it on were a Fresh New High Road, a High Road X, and a Physics, and those all looked really good, but those are pretty quick response balls too. The Physics is a little bit slower, but it's nano, so I don't think it really, everything nano, I could flip it on, I could flip it over and put finger holes over the label on the bottom, and anything nano is just going to roll fine. But I noticed that the new Idle and the Idle Pearl that I drilled kind of get to the spot and quit a little bit. So I'm thinking it's more of a layout thing because I used Angel's normal layout. Her ball looks very good. Tamer's, of course, looks awesome. And so I'm thinking it's more of a layout thing. I think with the slower response balls, I'm going to have to use something, or the lower the RG is, I'm thinking I'm going to have to use something that doesn't slow down quite as much on the back end. So I actually like the Idle Pearl quite a bit better for everybody else than I like it for me. So it's one of those things where I had to give it a fair shake. I still had to show what goes on at Westridge. It was awful in league last night. I averaged 236 in this league, and I had like 370 after 2. So was not heckin' happy, and then of course I shot 230 something with the Winter Solid the next game because it looks really good at Westridge. Not so much at it goes a little long and is a little too flippy, which is not really its thing at Gauge Center. So Idle Pearl, on the other hand, looked really good at Gauge Center. So yeah, I like the Idle Pearl a lot better for everybody else than I like it for me. And I do think that if you like the Hypercell Fused, you're gonna like the Idle Pearl. And the Winter Solid, I really do like. I think it's a Torrent. I think that the Torrent was kind of ignored, which really sucked. I can't remember what it came at. It came out at the same time as something else that really, I think it came out with the Timeless. And so everybody had all this hype around the Timeless, and nobody really paid any attention to the Torrent, and they missed a really great ball. So anyhow, I'm going to start answering some questions now. Should I swap out my ink for the Winter Solid? That's really hard. I probably wouldn't. The ink's just too good of a ball. I wouldn't swap them out. I might add a winter solid. I definitely wouldn't let go of the ink, though. Which would be more aggressive, no rules pearl or idle pearl? That's actually a really good question because I think that the cover on the idle pearl is stronger, but of course no rules pearl is asymmetric. It's really close. I almost think it's a toss-up. I really do think it's a toss-up because the no rules pearl is a little bit earlier and a little bit smoother on the back end. Idle pearl gets way down the lane for as strong as that core is, and then mine really flips over. It tries to flip over. It tries to flip forward. But that's actually a really good question. I think that they're pretty close. Idle Pearl's a little bit longer and stronger. No Rules Pearl's a little bit earlier and smoother. I think in terms of board coverage, they're pretty well right on top of each other. Low bandwidth. I don't want to hear it. I just don't want to hear it. Big fan of the Idle Pearl look. Would you say it's close to a phase? Kind of. It depends on if you're talking about, because I had this discussion with somebody else earlier. I was thinking, I lost my train of thought. Oh, the original, the first one that came out that was like the pastel Easter colors. That one, it doesn't bear any similarity to because that one's really even, really smooth. And the second batch ones that have the darker colors and look more pearlized. That one, yes, Idle Pearl's pretty close to that one. Okay, Trey. So I have a Halo, Idle, High Road Nano, Daredevil Danger, Marvel Pearl, Sonic Pitch, Black Hot Cell, and Codex. Going to drill up a couple new ones and don't know what to get. Can I get some help? You only have one asymmetric ball in there, so I'm going to say Physics right off the rip. I think that's a really good one. I really like it, so I would definitely add in a Physics. Another look it doesn't look like you have is a High Road X. You've got a lot of the Idle's Nano, High Road Nano is Nano. Sonic's pretty smooth. You got a couple urethanes. Codex is pretty smooth. Marvel Pearl's pretty smooth. Daredevil Danger is kind of whatever, but you don't have something with a higher RG that's going to go longer and really punch. So I would say High Road Physics and High Road X if you were looking for some stuff, because despite them being new, I'm not trying to sell them because they're new. They go with me everywhere. And Physics has already made me a lot of money. And the High Road X is something that on my Thursday night scratch league, I hadn't shot 700 in that league yet until I got the High Road X, and it just really matched up well, and it allows me to do something different there that I hadn't been able to do with other stuff because it gets so far down the lane and then is sharp but still controllable on the back end, so it's something that I can play a little bit further right. The trouble I have at this other house is it's been dry, and so I'm having trouble getting something down the lane and then getting it to hook. I wasn't able to play straight with anything, and if I got deep, then it'd get wiggly on the back end. But the High Road X allowed me to play it a little bit further, a little bit closer to the dry, and still kind of keep it in the middle of the lane, but it gets better length, and then it still punches for me on the back end. So I've actually got my first two 700s in the last couple weeks. I missed a week in there for the U.S. Open, but the two sets since I've gotten the High Road X have been over 700, so won some points there too. What's the best Mega Man theme? I think it's the metal version of the Launch Octopus song that I used for the Idle Pearl review. I actually used that for my outro clip with with all my handles on there, the Patreon, and I'm on Twitter now, and I'm on Insta. I've been on Twitter, but I haven't really done much bowling stuff, but I'm on Instagram now. And then, of course, we have our Discord channel that everybody, free to come watch, or free to come join. There's a public channel. You don't have to sign up for anything. Patreon's pretty cool if you want to do the $5 a month thing. If not, we have a general channel. We have a free public channel on Discord if you just want to come hang out with all the other people that watch the videos and stuff and talk balls and stuff. That's a lot of fun. So yeah, I really digging the metal version of the Launch Octopus song. So, and that's the good thing that somebody else said that they really liked what I was doing with the music right now. It's hard finding music that's not copywritten, but the thing with the video game music is that if I find other versions of that, plus with video games, they want you putting them on YouTube. They want you promoting and advertising them. And obviously, if the music's copywritten, or you're going to get a copyright strike from uploading and then monetizing your videos, then that would really suck. And so they want you promoting them. And so video game songs are free to use whatever, whenever. So it's, plus there's a lot of good music on video games. So it just kind of works out. Yeah, thanks for the answer. I have the first batch. Second batch looked way nicer. I had two of the first batch. I really liked that ball because it was a unique look. It wasn't a look that many people really liked, but it was a different look. My wife has one. Angel has one of the second batches. Hers looks great. It looks like an Optimus, actually. So it looks nothing like the first batch. So now that you've thrown the Idle Pearl, do you think it's a big difference with the Super Idol? I'm getting a Super Idol. I'm still getting a Super Idol, and so I'm going to see. But I would have to say that those two covers are going to be wildly, wildly different because if anybody has watched my Marvel Max SE video, it's got the same cover on it as the Super Idol, I believe. It's got NRG Smooth Pearl, I believe, which is still a Nano Pearl cover, which the Idol Pearl, not the Idol Pearl, the Super Idol is also a Nano cover. So I think that those two are going to be pretty similar. It's a really early and smooth cover, whereas the new cover, the E-Trax, that's on both the Hypercell Fused, then the hybrid version, and the Pearl version that's now on the Idle Pearl, a lot cleaner up front, a lot more responsive to friction. So I would say that as soon as I get them, I'm gonna do a video comparing the Super Idle to the Idle Pearl because I think that they're just gonna be wildly different. I think that I really wanted the Super Idol, or if the Idle Pearl would have come out with the Nano, with the Super Idol cover, the Idol being a Super Nano load, and the Super Idol being a Nano Pearl, I think that those are going to share a lot more in common than the Idol and the Idle Pearl. But at the same time, like I said, it's nice to have a contrast because there's a lot of people who the Idol was really, really smooth for. If you go watch Tamer's video, the Idol is very, very smooth and even for him, and even though his Idle Pearl looks a lot better than mine, he even says that they just really don't have anything in common. The Idle Pearl is much cleaner up front, much more responsive down the lane. The Idol, on the other hand, is really early, it's really smooth, so I think it's nice to have a contrast every once in a while instead of having just straight compliments. Like the Winter and the Winter Solid, perfect compliments. I mean, that's a great 1-2 punch in the HP2 line. Those are, you just bang for your buck. You just can't beat them. He gave them both A+, I believe, in value. So those are both very similar. So you have the Winter Solid, when that starts hooking a little too much or forcing you inside, just step down to the Winter, have the same type of look with a little bit more length down the lane. The Idol and the Idle Pearl, on the other hand, I don't really see stepping down from the Idol to the Idle Pearl. I would step down from the Idol to the Marvel Pearl, but at the same time, I think a lot of people that didn't like the Idol because it was too smooth and not responsive enough down lane, the Idle Pearl is their answer. So them being contrasting that way, I really don't think that it's... I think it's possible to like both the Idol and the Idle Pearl, but they're wildly, wildly different applications and conditions. So, oh, Susan, you're still whining at me. Video looks good. Video looks good. I think the video looks good. Yes, so Idle Pearl, is it a big difference with Super Idol? I'm going to say yes. I've seen both, just looking at both of them and knowing what I know about both the covers, they've got to be. Got to be really different. Has the Idle Pearl blend wet dry? Not well at all. I had to knock the shine off of it, and I don't ever do that because most people when they buy a ball, they throw it out of box. They just take it, they get it drilled, and then they start throwing it. Most the people that will change the cover stock are like tournament bowlers or staffers or something that say, "Well, I don't like the factory shine." There's a lot of people that I know that say, "Well, I just don't like the factory shine, so I just automatically knock it off." I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. But for the videos, the vast majority of people watching this are going to get a ball, they're going to get it drilled, and then they're going to go throw it. And so I need to show on the videos what the ball looks like right out of the box because that's what you're going to see most of the time when you go and buy it and try it for yourself the first time. But in a very rare turn of events, I actually did knock the shine off of it while I was testing at Westridge because it just needed it for me. Again, I think that layout I don't like the layout on the ball. It's not that I don't like the ball, because obviously Tamara's looks outstanding. You're going to see tomorrow night Angels looks really good too. So I think it's a matchup issue and a layout issue. So I'm either going to plug and re-drill the one that I have, or I'm just going to drill a new one, because because of how well it looked at Gauge Center, I think if I get somewhere that's really long and's got really snappy back ends, the benefit that it has and that the Hypercell Fused has is that you can control what it does and where it goes on the back end. And so if you get some really flippy back ends, you're going to have something that still clears the fronts well and still back ends strongly, but doesn't hit the back end and then start going nuts. Mine kind of gets to the back ends and then it stops and goes in the direction that I'm rolling it. So it's more of a tool than kind of a, flip it out there and watch it roar back for me. It's one of those very specific use balls where I think it can have a purpose. That purpose is not on a fresh house shot for me. I got better options, especially at Westridge. But I think it does have a purpose, and it's one of those balls that will be, when its situation comes around, it will be very good at that. So the first one's condition specific, but Angels and Tamers look so good that I have to drill another one now. I just have to, because if I can get one to look like theirs looks, it's a heckin' beast. So yeah, don't really like it for now, but I'm intrigued. I want to drill another one, so that's probably going to happen. All right, go back up here and catch up to some questions here. All right, so Idle Pearl for me does not blend wet dry very well, and I think that you would probably see that Tamer would also agree on that. It's not one of those things that's pretty sharp on friction, so I don't think it really blends wet dry well. The Idle, on the other hand, blends it very well. Blends it really well. The Idle Pearl is more built for getting down there and throwing pins around. So still using my T-Road Pearl. Heck yeah. Through my teammate's physics, I have to get too deep on the fresh. If you like your T-Road Pearl, drill a High Road Pearl. I think it's the same ball. I think. I would have to go look at that. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's the same ball. So, Andrew Perkins. God, I missed that one. What would be a good light oil ball that's not urethane? Yeah, if you can find the ride, yeah, the Hustle Pow is actually a really good one that everybody kind of forgets that they still make. I think they still make it. I hope they still make it. Hustle Pow. Go find a Hustle Pow. I think that one's pretty good. Spark Mandrill is a good Mega Man song. Yep, I spent a lot of time. I've actually got this in the. If you guys would go watch him, I'd appreciate that, because he puts a lot of time into. He does Mega Man covers and other video game covers, and he plays all the way through the Mega Man X games and Mega Man games, and does his metal version of them. It's, if you search for MET, all capitals, on YouTube, MET Mega Man X, then he'll pop up, and he puts his stuff on the Creative Commons. So basically he makes it and then he puts it out there for everybody else to use for free. So that's incredibly cool. I would appreciate it if you guys would go over there and watch some of those videos. Plus, he does a really good job. He does a really good job, and the music is just great. So I happen to have one. Yep. Surprised you didn't use Big Blue from F-Zero for the Idle Pearl. I was listening to the Mega Man X stuff. I'm kind of big into that right now, and so I went. I did that. You guys are gonna love Angel's music. I've already got her intro video done, and she was the one that picked the intro music for that, and I think you're really gonna like it. That's a whole lot of fun. How close is the Winter Solid to the High Road Nano? That's a great question, because I think that they are pretty similar. They shape very, very similar. The High Road Nano, just by virtue of a stronger cover, hooks more, but they're very, very similar, because they've got, the High Road Nano is just a little bit higher RG, whereas it's 2.54 with the altered hotshot core that's in the Winter. It's 2.57, I believe, in the High Road Nano. And then the differentials, but the differential's a little bit higher on the Winter Solid, whereas it's a little bit lower on the High Road Nano. So the High Road Nano creates shape by a higher RG and still a pretty high differential. The Winter drops that down a little bit, so technically it rolls a little bit earlier, but it also has a higher differential, and so it's going to pop a little bit more on the back end. So, but yeah, they're pretty similar. They're pretty similar. So, okay. Marvel Pearl versus Idle Pearl, please. You're going to see that in Angel's video. because it looks pretty similar to the Marvel Pearl for her. The Idle Pearl is a little bit stronger, but it's still got that really round shape to it. So you're definitely going to see that's going to be the prime comparison in Angel's video. So you definitely get to see that. Idle versus Codex versus Phase 2. I need some new Phase 2 video because I just drilled a new one, but I'm in such a time crunch this weekend that if I didn't do what I did, then you guys wouldn't have gotten videos for another week or two. So, haven't been sleeping much. I'm pretty busy, but we got the videos out and we had fun, and we're doing this now, and this is fun. So I'd love to get an original Daredevil. Original Daredevil is pretty awesome. Time to stand. Okay. So Schlemmer told me to take a 2000 grit pad to my Hypercell Fused before my tournament. Yeah, the Hypercell Fused, I think this cover just looks better with the shine off of it. I think that they needed something shiny when they released them, but I think that they know that the cover looks like I've seen a lot of pros throwing Fused, and none of them have been polished. Everybody that I've seen that really likes the Hypercell Fused has taken the shine off. And I think that that's going to be the case with most people. Now, Tamer said he actually likes it with the shine on it. Angels looks good with the shine on it. So I think for lower speed, lower rev bowlers, you're going to need it to get down the lane because it's still a pretty aggressive ball. It still, punches on the back end pretty good. But I think that, yeah, that cover on the Hypercell Fused and the Idle Pearl looks really good with the shine taken off of it. I don't say that very often about... I've never really liked sanded hybrids much, but the physics I really like, and especially sanded pearls. I don't do sanded pearls. They always seem to, it just seems to turn them into a marshmallow for me or something. But no, this cover especially looked great with surface on it. So don't be afraid to knock the surface off either the Fused or the Idle Pearl. I think you really like it. Let's see, how much stronger is a Sherlock than a Codex? 4 to 5 boards. I mean, the Sherlock is a monster, and it's still the strongest ball in the lineup. The Halo, I thought, had all the makings to be stronger, but for some reason, I'm actually finding my Idol to be stronger than the Halo, which is really weird because it's the Halo is an asymmetric core with the Idol cover. But the Halo, I think, goes a little straighter on the back end, and so I still find the Idol to be the stronger of the two balls for me. But the Sherlock's still the king of hook. Out there, period. It hooks a bunch and it back ends a bunch. So it's pretty well a full arrow stronger than the Codex for me. So see a lot of similarities between the Idle Pearl and Marvel Pearl. To be honest, might be the numbers, but the smoothness out of the box are uncannily similar to me. That's the funny thing is I almost considered rewriting my review after I got home because I'm out there bowling, and this is one of those balls that feels different to me than it actually looks on film. I get home and. I wrote all my thoughts down for the review before I watched the video back because I'm basing it on what I'm seeing out there live instead of watching video. Basing it on what I'm seeing out there live, what the ball feels like to me, what I had to do to make it strike. It feels nothing like the Marvel Pearl. The Marvel Pearl is just butter. I can get to the bottom and I can hammer on it and it just glides down there and then it's really continuous. The Idle Pearl, I had to try to scoot down the lane a little bit because it was so quick on the back end for me that I had to get out of it a lot cleaner than I do the Marvel Pearl. I can really hit up on the Marvel Pearl and really roll it, and it still just gets down there, and then it's nice and easy into the pocket. The Idle Pearl feels just ridiculously... what are we doing here? Okay. The Idle Pearl... Let me shut my sound off here real quick. Do not disturb. Okay. Heckin' important. But the Idle Pearl feels... super flippy, and so the things that I had to do, the way I had to throw it to make it look like that, is just totally opposite of the Marvel Pearl. But then I get home and I'm watching on the video and I'm like, well gosh, that kind of looks like a Marvel Pearl. That looks like a sharper Marvel Pearl. So I definitely get it, and I was sitting there listening. As soon as I got the video done, I'm sitting there listening to the review and I'm like, these people are going to think I'm crazy because this looks like a Marvel Pearl, and I'm saying, well, this is, I even had a line in the review that I took out about saying that it had nothing in common with the Marvel Pearl because I watched the video back and it looks a lot like the Marvel Pearl. but it doesn't feel like the Marble Pearl. It's hard to explain, but it feels so crazy sharp to me, and it feels a lot straighter on the back end. It just doesn't feel very similar. It's an odd thing. I don't know. Maybe you guys will understand. It comes out here on the 23rd, which is Black Friday, or is the day? No, it's the day before Thanksgiving, I think. Something like that. It's the 23rd. But anyway, you guys will find, especially those of you that have the Marble Pearl, you'll find out what I mean when you get the ball. You'll see what I mean. You'll understand, because they look similar on video, but I'm telling you they're different. So you might also ask Tamara the same thing, but they feel a lot different to me. They look similar, but they feel different. So anyway, there's enough beating that horse. How would you drill it differently? I'd probably do my original layout that I used to do, where the pins above the bridge and the 65 by 5¼ by 40, or I might do like a 4.5-inch pin or something, because the 5¼ pin, the better I throw the ball, the longer it makes stuff go, and so I'm having to adjust my pin distances to make the ball a little bit more continuous, because the longer the pin is, the more it wants to flatten out or straighten out or loses axis rotation faster. Losing axis rotation faster is the technical way to describe it, but the practical blue-collar term that everybody can understand is the longer the pin, the more it wants to stop and go straight on the back end. And the shorter the pin, the more continuous, the more rolly it wants to be. And so, but at the same time, it increases the flare too. So I need to find that blend of something that's not like flaring like crazy, because I have a decent enough rev rate to where I don't need a lot of flare, but at the same time I want the continuous motion on the back end, because I come up the back of it a little bit more. And so I like something that I can come up the back of, and then it gets to the spot, and then it rolls through the spot and doesn't just stop and go straight. So but the thing is too, that everything works on tougher patterns. I'm having trouble matching up to house shots lately, but I'm matching up really well in sport tournaments. And so it's not something that I'm really mad about and really going to put a whole lot of stock into. I'll try these new balls on something different. The Idle Pearl might be a beast on, the one that I drilled might be a beast on sport conditions. So, I mean, we'll see. Let me see here. Okay. Do you like the Winter Solid to fit between the Idle and High Road X, or is there another you'd recommend? No, it's a pretty good fit right between those two. I like the Phase 2 also, but I think it's closer to the Idle than it is to the High Road X. The Winter Solid would be pretty solidly right between those two. So I think that's a good suggestion there. If you want something to fit in between those two, the Winter Solid is a pretty good choice. I have the Codex and it hooks off the planet even on Shark, then you don't want a heckin' Sherlock, because that cover is orders of magnitude stronger than the Codex cover. It's just not even close. Hit the like button. Thank you. Thank you, Brandon. Yes, please hit the like button. It does. There's a YouTube algorithm thing. If you hit the like button, they used to have it by views, because they thought the more times a video was viewed, the more popular it was, or the more people liked it, and so it would show up closer to the top in the search results. But then they found out that people were just using clickbaity thumbnails or pictures just to get people to watch the video, so it would make it show up higher. And so they figured, okay, well, there's a like and dislike button now, and that controls the algorithm. Because if somebody sees a clickbaity thumbnail and then they get on the video and it sucks, they're going to thumbs down it, and it's not going to show up as high. So the thumbs up definitely do help my videos show up closer to the top in the search results. So that's always appreciated. Winter Solid versus Alpha Crux with lane shine. They shape, somebody else asked me about this too. They shape fairly similar. Obviously the Alpha Crux is a lot stronger. Stronger cover, stronger core, but it's got kind of that length and kind of more of a sharp or straighter, more direct arc. It's not like really round on the back end like the Idle is, where the Idle hits friction and it just rounds in there. This kind of stops and then goes. It's not necessarily angular, but it's a little bit straighter off the back, kind of like the Alpha Crux is. So it's, I think I said this in my preview video too, call me crazy, but I was getting Alpha Crux vibes. It's like a weak Alpha Crux. It's like Alpha Crux Jr. That's something else. Any of this stuff, definitely run by Tamer also, because It's weird. A lot of the times we see different looks out of balls. Like his idle pearl is way different than mine is, but the same thing, at the same time, he's still keyed in on some of the things that I did as well. Like the idle pearl is better. It was better for me the further I got inside, and he commented that he said, misses inside with the idle pearl worked a lot better than misses outside. And he also agreed that the idle and idle pearl don't share hardly anything in common. So we get different reactions a lot of the time, but we still see similar things. And so I think getting his perspective via just asking me a question versus asking him a question, I think that you could get a more complete answer by asking both of us. So, and it depends on the way that you see things too. But I definitely ask him some of the same questions you're asking me just to see what he would say about it. Hey there, Demon. What's up? How would you compare and contrast these three balls if you don't have the video planned? Idle, Phase 2, and Codex. Idle is the earliest and roundest of the three, so it's the earliest and the smoothest. The Codex fits right in between, and the Phase 2 is the longest and strongest. I'd say that it goes in terms of hook, it goes Idle, Phase 2, Codex. In terms of shape, Phase 2 is sharpest, Codex is next, and Idle is the smoothest. I can't see all three of those in a bag, though. Way too much overlap. I like them all. I would put the Idle and Phase 2 in a bag and leave the Codex home. Because the Idle is smooth enough that I could use it when I want to use it. The Phase 2 hooks enough. I don't see a spot for the Codex. Now, it's a good ball, but I think that the thing with the codes are that the cover is just not quite strong enough for the core. So the core's got a lot of torque because it's so strong, but it doesn't quite have the cover to get the job done. Now, that is also the good thing about the codes is that you've got balls that really roll and really rev, but aren't like crazy strong. So there's something that they roll stronger, but they're not so strong you can't throw them. So I would leave the Idle and the Phase 2 in the bag. I would choose those. Black Friday is when the Idle Pearl and Winter Solid comes out. Thanks, Brandon. Demon, just in time for discounts. Yeah, we actually have here in Topeka, in the Topeka, Lawrence, and Kansas City areas, we have a big blowout sale every Thanksgiving or every Black Saturday, Thanksgiving weekend. We call it Black Saturday because it's right after Black Friday. So, good stuff. Okay, yeah. Totally get what you're saying. I had some with the Codex and the Theory. For some reason, they felt and looked exactly the same for me, but when I watched the videos back, they're worlds apart. Yeah, it's crazy. It's something I can't explain. Marvel Pearl, Idle Pearl, totally opposite for me. They look pretty close on video. I don't get it. But honestly speaking, that's just what it is. Not a fan of the Marvel Pearl based on R2X covers, so could like the Idle Pearl better, probably. Yeah. What do you not like about the R2X cover? Is it a little too smooth for you? Or if it's a little too smooth for you, the Idle Pearl is a back-endier. I just created a word, by the way, back-endier. It's a much stronger on the back end version of the Marvel Pearl. Or Tamers looks like a crazy strong Marvel Pearl. His is really round. Angel's is really round too. So theirs aren't as nearly as sharp as mine is. It doesn't look like. Winter or High Road X? Yeah, they're really different, Bart. They're really, really different. Winter Solid, a new cover, or was it on a different piece beforehand? No, it's a new cover. It's a version. They haven't done the solid version yet. The hybrid version showed at the VTC. It showed up first on the HYB, and then they had the Pearl version on the Winter, and now this is the first time we've seen the solid version. So technically, it's a new cover. It feels like R2S, like the Winter Solid. That it just feels like an R2S cover, like the Torrent or like the IQ Tour Solid or something. It feels like an R2. Thanks, Matthew. Appreciate it. Yeah, if anybody else wants to throw me a few bucks, the little dollar symbol down there. Appreciate it. Love the ball reviews and opinions on equipment. Appreciate it. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun, and I like tips too, so that definitely helps. Definitely helps me recoup a little bit of the cost and time involved. Nick Campfield live stream champ of the day. we had a lot of fun. I streamed. Nick has the streaming bowling channel that we did the collegiate streaming on today, and they were in two different locations. The men were bowling one place, and the women were bowling somewhere else. And so he wanted to be able to be in both places at the same time, but he couldn't be. And so I packed up all my equipment. I went over there and I live streamed the women's matches for him, and he live streamed the men's matches. Had a little snafu when he went live on Facebook, or it went live on YouTube, and YouTube decided to just take over my stream too. So he had two different videos with the same stream from his, and so I had to back out and reset it. But it was a good time, and we're going to be back tomorrow at 9:30 in the morning. So if you want to see there's really some pretty good bowling. I had a lot of fun. So if you want to join us, it starts at 9:30 tomorrow, 10:30 for him, 9:30 a.m. Central. 10:30 a.m. Central, and then the time changes tonight too. So we'll be on sometime. Bowling centers really can change a bowling ball's reaction completely. I know when I go overseas, the Sherlock looks disgustingly strong and good, but my home center just has zero back end. Yeah, that's why I started. Streaming on the brain here. That's why I started doing the videos at two different houses, because the surfaces are just wildly different. The surfaces are, I think you can really, really tell in the ball reaction. Much more length, a much stronger reaction at Gauge Center, much earlier, much smoother at Westridge, so you can get an idea kind of how it looks at two different places. I think that's, people have asked me about doing like sport patterns, but everything looks so similar at Westridge. It's the same reaction type. It's the same reaction shape. I still play the same area of the lane. It just might react a little bit longer or a little bit later, a little bit earlier, depending on the pattern. But it looks still, two different patterns look a whole lot more similar if I did them at the same place versus a house shot at one place and the same shot at another place. It gives you a couple different looks, and so that's why I knew that it would be a better idea to video at a different center rather than putting a different lane pattern or condition down the lane. So speed dominant here. Love the physic, loves the fused. Don't get along with the idle. Do you like the idle pearl or the winner below the fused? Winner's a really big jump. I would go idle pearl, because it's still, that cover's so clean, and the fused has that torque to where it's a little bit, I think you can see in the comparisons where the fused is still a little bit earlier. It's still sharp on the back end, but it's a little bit earlier. So I think that the idle pearl may not be a big enough drop, but the fused to the winner is a huge drop. So if you were going to stick something below the fused, I would probably go idle pearl, because it still gets down the lane really easy for me. And if you like the fused, you're going to like the idle pearl. I would be stunned. I don't think that a lot of people, I think there's a lot of people, you're either going to like the idle or the idle pearl. I don't think that there's going to be a whole lot of people that like both, unless you bowl on a very wide variety of conditions. If you just bowl league every week on the same shot and you didn't like the idle, you're going to like the idle pearl. If you like the idle, may or may not like the idle pearl. The jury's still out on that. You would have to ask Tamer on that one, or go watch his videos. I like the idle quite a bit. My wife likes the idle pearl much better, so I haven't, it's still early yet. I haven't heard from a lot of people, but I think that they're kind of in one camp or the other. They're either idle camp or idle pearl camp. I don't see a lot of people so far that really love the idle and really love the idle pearl. But again, everybody's just, staffers are just starting to get these balls. So that's my early feeling, but I'm not sure on the answer with that. Idle needs a flood to hold. Play my normal line with the idle and hook Brooklyn. Would some polisher do the job, or should I just get an idle pearl? I let mine lane shine. I don't like putting polish on it. I like it just kind of gradually easing into things and getting some oil in it. So I like lane shine a lot better. Throw it for 10 or 15 more games. Once let it get shined up. I like that reaction a lot better. But if you don't match up with the idle again, if you need a flood to hold, the idle pearl scoots down the lane awful easy. I don't know if you noticed that in the video. It gets down the lane really easily. A little shine on the idle is a good thing. Yes, Mr. Bill. Neville Kirby, too smooth for sure. Okay. So if the Marvel Pearl is too smooth for you, idle pearl is right up your alley. So I'd say yes, definitely take a look at that one. Roger on the button. A little suggestion, but I do think some layout comparison videos of the same ball might help educate your subscribers. I'm trying to work on that. Right now. It's one of those things where it's that significantly increased the cost of putting a video out, doing multiple balls, doing different layouts on the same ball. But I'm working on that. Hopefully that's something I can start doing in January. Because I don't think that we're going to have any more ball releases between now and the end of the year. I think Storm will probably have some stuff in early January as soon as we get to the new year, as soon as we get to 2019. That's something that's on the radar. That's something I'm trying to make happen. So hopefully, I do agree with you. That I think that having a couple different layouts, in addition to using them at a couple different houses, I think that's good information. So I'm working at that. So, yep, love it. Back into your totally new thing. I didn't like the high road X. It was so late turning over on wood lanes. On wood lanes, man, the high road X I imagine could be a nightmare. Wood lanes are a lot softer, and so a lot more oil up front, and most of the time, especially if you still got wood lanes, they're probably older wood lanes. Higher friction, very worn in track, so I imagine that they have to use a lot of oil, so the ball's either going to it's probably going to hit the back end and stand up, or it's going to be super, super over under. You would have to take it to like 2,000. High Road X I don't think is a great choice at all for wood lanes. It's great on synthetics. Really love it on synthetics. Not so heckin' much. I haven't thrown it on wood lanes, but believe me, I can imagine. I remember wood lanes. High Road X remind me a little of the Intense Fire. Doesn't like to be overpowered, but will do its thing if you let it. That's kind of what I'm doing at my my other house, my dryer house. Normally, I like to get in a wheel on it, but that I'm actually being able to play further right with it. It's a totally new thing for me. Not really a new thing, but this is the first time I've really been comfortable with it in a long time. Normally my answer is to just get left and wrap on it, but this I can actually play dryer lanes a little bit further right and kind of like the Intense Fire. I think when I was doing the video for the Intense Fire, I was getting deep and wrapping on it and trying to make it do something. It just wasn't doing it. The easier you can be with the Intense Fire, the better, I think. So, hello, Brandon. Love your opinions and reviews. Keep doing what you do. Thank you, Nicholas. Appreciate it. How do you feel like both of these would be perfect to replace my Trick and Daredevil? Thoughts? It's not very Trick-ish. The Winter Solid is not very Trick-ish, but the Idol is a lot stronger. I can't really tell you on the Trick because I have a Trick and I like my Trick, and it's not really... IQ Tour Solid's not strong enough and it's smoother. Idle is too much stronger and the shape is not quite right. Phase 2's shape is not quite right. There's nothing out there that I can think of right now that's really like the Trick. Maybe we'll have something coming soon, but the Trick is still kind of a unique thing right now. And the Daredevil too. Is there a panda? No, there's not a panda, but there's a Mistel. Hey, Mistel. Hi, baby. I know, hi. Scratches? You like scratches? You looking at the camera? Mistel. All right, do you want to go outside? You can go outside. Let's see. So, yeah, I don't really think so. The Puppers. It's tricky. It's true. The Idle Pearl is not very Daredevil-ish. So.
Change mine. Oh, you. Okay. You want more of them?
Yeah, you can pop it here. Thank you.
There's just water.
Yuppers. So yeah, I really don't think that they're, and it's the Idle Pearl stronger than the Daredevil too. So there's not a whole lot. I don't know. There's just not anything out there right now. And my big thing is shapes. There's stuff that you can get that has about the same hook potential. Shape is more important to me, and I can't think of anything right now in our catalog that we have that's like a Daredevil or a Trick right now. So, Hook potential, you'd be closer with a phase 2 to the trick. Those hook potentials are really similar. Those shapes, not so much. Daredevil and the Idle Pearl. The Idle Pearl is 2 to 3 boards stronger than the Daredevil, but probably close enough to make it work. The shapes aren't very close for me, but that's a tough one. So I love the Intense Fire, probably the weight block. I do like the Rad-E core. I can't wait to get a solid version of that. I think that's going to be great. I can't think of anything else that R3S Solid has been on. I know of a lot of stuff, especially overseas, that has the hybrid and the Pearl versions. Can't think of any R3S Solid stuff. We haven't had anything stateside. If there's been R3S Solid, it's been overseas. There probably has been, but I don't know which balls that are. The balls those are. But I really do love that Rad-E core. I really love the Intense core. So a Solid Intense, I hope, is coming. I think that'll be awesome. Yeah, it has length and continuation. Yeah, it's kind of like an asymmetric high road. It's really weird. It's, for as much as it hooks, it's really controlled on the back end, and for as much as it back ends, it's smooth on the back end. It's a hard one to describe, but I think people are seeing the value in it. I think it's one of those like the phase 2 where it's going to increase in popularity like a year from now. Like, people are going to realize what a great ball it actually is, and that's the funny thing with the phase 2 is it came out. Nobody liked the phase, and so they didn't pay much attention to the phase 2, but then all of a sudden you see pros throwing it all the time, and Prather was just throwing it on the US Open show, and a lot during the week, so it's like a tournament bowler's best friend. And so it's like, okay, nobody paid attention to it, and then all of a sudden it's a thing. So Phase Tour overseas release. Yes, this just showed up. I'm sure it's an overseas release. It just showed up on the... there's a lot of stuff that just showed up on the USBC approved balls list. So you can go check that out. I don't like to get into spoiling stuff. Because all you see that the ball's been approved, and then you see a picture. So there's not much to talk about there. There is a phase tour on the overseas, or on the USBC approved list, probably overseas. Probably overseas. Reminds me of my brother's Black Widow Black and Gold. That's also a pretty good one, honestly. How's the Idle Pearl compare with the Sonic and Intense? Angel liked the Idle Pearl, not so much the Sonic. The Intense is, man, the Intense has so much torque. It's so much stronger, so much earlier. The Idle Pearl is one that I can really thump on. It doesn't overreact. I'd like it to react a little bit more, matter of fact. It doesn't overreact on the back end. The Intense just hits the lane and digs, and it wants to go. Not very close. It's kind of clean like the Sonic, but the Sonic rolls so much heavier. I don't understand that either, because the Sonic has a weaker cover than the Idle Pearl does, but the Idle Pearl gets down the lane a lot easier than the Sonic. The Sonic's a very heavy rolling ball. It also wants to go right now, so I don't think it's... I think that the Sonic and Intense are actually closer for me than the Idle Pearl. The Intense is way stronger on the back end for me than the Sonic, but the Idle Pearl is pretty different for me than those two. Here, the Idle Pearl is very skid flippy. So far, the videos I've seen are awesome. The Idle Pearl for me is very skid flippy. Very skid flippy. Very contrasting reaction to the Idle. Aw, happy dog. Yes, she's like the happiest dog ever. She just smiles and smiles and smiles and smiles. Just constantly. It's great. I think the Idle Pearl compares to the All Out Show Off. Not close. Not close at all. The Idle Pearl's really long and flippy. The All Out Show Off was actually earlier for me and a little bit smoother on the back end. So, think Roto will make a Pearl Halo. Probably. They need a Pearl in the line now, because they had the Hypercell Fuse Halo, so we've got to have another Pearl. They discontinued the No Rules Pearl a while ago now, so we need another asymmetric Pearl. That's got to be the next thing coming out in the line. So it's either going to be an asymmetric. That would be awesome, though, if they don't heck this up like they did with the Idle. If they have a Pearl, if they put the Idle Pearl cover on the Halo core, I don't like it, Susan. I just don't. I want to see if you went Nano for the solid version, go Nano for the Pearl version. The Nano Pearl is really strong and it's really smooth, but that's what I want to see. I don't want to see Halo and then see this clean, super stupidly long, flippy cover on it. I want to see a Pearl Halo. That's what I want to see. Some people would disagree with me. I want to see a nano pearl halo. That's what I want to see. So, yes. So I'm leaving corners with the Marvel Pearl. I can ball up to the Idle Pearl. Absolutely. Absolutely. I would say yes. Yes, absolutely. The Marvel Pearl starts getting a little flat on the back end. Go right to the Idle Pearl. You're going to get similar length, but a lot stronger move on the back end. Yes. Definitely. Definitely, definitely. Let's see. What solid would match up to the Idle Pearl? Halo, but it's stronger. The Winter Solid was actually a pretty good step down from the Idle Pearl after it didn't work last night. I went from the Idle Pearl to the Winter Solid, same area on the lane, just a smoother read and a little bit more continuous. So Winter Solid actually, maybe even the Show Off. I think they discontinued that one though. So Winter Solid actually, yeah. Yes, Phase 2 is amazing. Everybody, that's the thing. Everybody now knows the Phase 2 is amazing. They didn't know that when the ball came out or 6 months after the ball came out. They just figured that out like a couple months ago. It just figured it out recently. It's weird. So, it's got to match up Black Pearl. It's so underrated. It's going to go the way of the Torrent. Everybody's already forgotten about it, which is sad because it's a great ball. I even forgot about it. It's still on the... It's been on the floor, but I've had so many new balls rotating in and out, and it's just not quite strong enough. I like really, really strong stuff now. Getting out of the ball so much better, and so my problem is I just can't find stuff that hooks enough anymore. So matchup Black Pearl, it's really, really good. It's going to go the way of the Torrent. It's not going to be out very long, but it is a great ball. If you're looking for something for kind of medium, like a true medium ball, it is great with the factory surface on it, which I think is 3000. Polish it up a little bit longer and stronger. It's a great, great ball, and I hated the matchup Pearl. Matchup Black Pearl, totally different ball. Totally awesome ball. Good point. Don't forget about the matchup Black Pearl, but people already have, unfortunately. The saving grace here with the Winter Solid is that it's basically a Torrent. I'm very happy because I like the Torrent. It disappeared way too quickly. Big fan. Winter Solid is very, very reminiscent of the Torrent and the Rocket Ship. The Rocket Ship is a little bit more Phase 2-ish, where the Torrent had a little more shape. On the back end, Rocket Ship was a little smoother. Go figure that. The numbers don't really suggest that, but Winter Solid, that's why I compared it to the Torrent. Very Torrentish. Very Torrentish. Yep, Angel, I had such high hopes for the Sonic. We both really liked the Sonic when we did the videos and for a couple weeks, and then the core is just too strong for the cover. I think it had kind of like a code ball feel to it, where it was just too strong, and as we got some games on it, the cover just smoothed off a little bit too much, and so it was really rolly, really heavy, so it'd force you left, but then it wouldn't quite make the turn. So I think that there's still a lot of people I've seen that love the Sonic. I still like, mentally, I like the Sonic. Every time I try to use it, it just doesn't quite work out. Sonic, I want to see that core again too. I really, really want to see that core again. Hopefully that's the next ball that we get in the master line. I really want to see a hybrid ball with that core on it. So with Master Sonic, AX16 hybrid overseas, I want to see a hybrid Sonic. I think that ball would be fantastic. It's a good ball for lefties, rounder stuff. Because the thing with the left side of the lane is, if you go back and watch some of my old videos, some of the best reactions I had were Hectic, IQ Tour, High Road Pearl. Tamara looks very good with his Idle Pearl. I would really like the Idle Pearl on the left side of the lane. Really like because it's a lot rounder for him. The thing with the left side of the lane is the reaction's a lot cleaner, so it's a lot sharper. That sounds like a good thing to those of us righties who get a game into league and we start leaving flat corners. Like, man, I'd really like to see something shape like the lefties have where they can get it out to the 4 board and it comes ripping back. The problem with that is that righties don't realize that they can tug the ball in at the 12 and it'll hold pocket. You tug a ball to 12 on the left side of the lane, it's going Brooklyn. So the lefties have better reaction, but they don't have as much room to get to the pocket. So it's a trade-off. I had to be a lot more accurate, even on a wide open house shot. I had to be a lot more accurate on the left side of the lane than I do on the right side of the lane to hit the pocket. But the carry is better on the left side of the lane if you hit that narrower window. So it's one of those things where lefties are either going to match up or they're not going to match up. That's why I don't really complain when I see a lefty having a day. Like there was a day in league last year where one of my buddies, and I actually talked to him about this, he was the low man. We had just a monster set. There was 4-man teams. We shot 1089 one game, and I think we shot almost 3,000 as a team. It's stupid nuts night. And the one lefty on the pair was the low man on the pair by 60 pins, and he worked hard for that 630 that he had. Everybody else was 690 plus. I shot 820 something that night. There were a couple of 770s, a 750, 720, and like a 690, and then he was low man with 630. He's like, I want you guys to remember next time I shoot 750 when nobody else knows the righties on the pair have a look, I want you to remember this because everybody remembers when the lefties shoot 750 when everybody else is struggling. They don't remember when everybody else goes nuts and the lefty has nothing. So left side of the lane is a lot tougher than it's given credit for, but when a lefty's on, they're not going to miss. That's just the way it goes. So when a lefty's having a day, I just say, you know what? Life sucks for you so much most of the time. Don't even worry about it. It's totally cool. What ball is good for lefties? So I like rounder stuff because lefties don't need any help getting the ball to hook most of the time. They've got the sharpness on the back end. They need to control the sharpness on the back end. So rounder shapes. Marvel Pearl, IQ Tour, Hustle Ink would be about the strongest I'd go on there. Code Black, stuff like that. They don't make it anymore, but stuff like that, rounder shapes. Idle Pearl looks really good for Tamer. That's about as strong, I think, as... He likes his intense, too, but with a lot of surface on it. But Idle Pearl out of box looks really good for Tamer. If you're interested in a good lefty ball, go watch Tamer's Idle Pearl video. Looks incredibly good for him. Phase Frenzy thoughts. It's really good. I'd love to have one. It's a ton of traction. Ton of traction. I think it's even stronger than the Idle. It's that redonkulous. Be nice if we had it. Again, we haven't had a hybrid in the master line. I don't know what the deal is. Crap load of hybrids in the master line overseas. We haven't had a hybrid in the master line since the IQ Tour Fusion. Just think about that. It's been so long ago, I didn't even have an IQ Tour Fusion. It was out before I got on staff 3 or 4 years ago. We have not had a hybrid in the master line for a long time. We're due for a hybrid. I swore that the physics was going to be a symmetric hybrid master line ball. We just haven't had one for a while. So I really hope we get something like that. You have no ball like the physics where you can throw it on the fresh and just keep chasing in, but for more medium light shots, I love how the physics can be thrown for long and I want to step down. That's really tough. That's really tough. If you got a high road and took it to 3,000, might be kind of similar. I still don't think so. I can't think of anything, honestly, that's like a physics. A high road at 3,000 is the best thing I got, and maybe I might have to try it. I might have to try it just to find out. But the physics is nano, and nano is so strong that you're not going to see it on anything down past the high road. Maybe the high road nano with some polish on it, which is still fairly aggressive. But that's as weak as you're going to get a nano ball. High road black pearl, perhaps. Go watch my video for the high road black pearl, and then for the physics, and kind of make your mind up there. That might actually be an option. Believe it or not, I'm glad somebody mentioned the high road black or the matchup black pearl, or else I'd have never thought about it. So, did you get to throw? I never got to throw always wanted an Optimus. Angel has an Optimus now. I always wanted an Optimus. Her Optimus looks outstanding. Yeah, the Optimus was actually really funny because it's the same cover as the Marvel Pearl. Hi, Mistel. Hi, baby Mistos. You're dirty. You get off me, you filthy dog. They go out and they play in the mud and then they come and jump on me. Hi, Panda Bear. Panda Bear of Panda Bear Productions. Can't see her, but she's here. It's heckin'. You're wet. You're wet. Is it heckin' rains?
It's sprinkling.
I Aspen. So anyhow, that's the funny thing is that the Optimus is a lot. I mean, it's the same cover as the Marvel Pearl, but a different core made all the difference in the world. It's crazy. No Rules Pearl versus Idle Pearl. I actually answered this a little bit earlier, and I think, yeah, No Rules Pearl is earlier and smoother. Idle Pearl is longer and flippier, but they hook about the same amount. So, dog, what are you doing? Dog Bear. Panda Bear. Panda Bear Productions. Differences between the Winter Solid and Codex. Similar shape-wise, but the Codex hooks 3 or 4 boards more. Pretty similar shape-wise. Because, like I said, the Winter Solid cover is very R2S solid-ish. Feels very, very similar. So the Winter Solid is kind of a weaker Codex, which is kind of a Alpha Crux kind of something. So, yeah. Torrent always showed up for me when I did the Matchmaker on the Storm website. Never got one, though. Yeah, because it's boring. The matchup Black Pearl is boring. Both great balls. Winter Solid, great ball. And that should mean something, considering that the winner is either super, super stupidly great or just almost the worst ball I've ever thrown. Winter Solid is really good, though. I really like that. I knew I was going to like that when they announced it because I like longer... I like really smooth solids, but I also like longer and flippier solids. So I like the general overall shape of the winner, but it was just not as consistent at the break point as I needed it to be, and the solid cover solved that. So Winter Solid, like it. Had a Disturb, what can I replace it with? The closest thing is going to be the Winter Solid, but it still doesn't quite have the shape right. The Disturb kind of has that Daredevil trick shape. All Out Show Off for a low rev player, I don't think it's quite... All Out Show Off was a little bit weird. I liked it because it was earlier and it was chuggier and it was a little smoother, so it helped me out with the big rev rate. But for smoother players, I just don't think it's a lower rev rate player. I just don't think it's going to have enough shape. I mean, if you have a drier shot and you don't swing it at all, if you can go straight down the lane or kind of angle it in at the pocket, you'll probably be okay. I just don't think it has enough shape for a lower rev player. When Angel was getting... When she was getting video for it, it just didn't look very good for her. So I would just not say All Out Show Off for a low rev player. I think it looks much better for higher rev players. Back to the Disturb thing, the closest thing you're going to find right now is the Winter Solid, but I think that we're going to be due for another Solid in the hotline because everybody's forgotten about the matchups. The matchup Pearl, and I think the matchup Pearl is still out. I think they're still making that, and I think the matchup Solid and the matchup Black Pearl, nobody's buying them anymore. Nobody's talking about them anymore. Everybody's forgotten about them. So it's time for a new hotline ball, and I think we're getting a Solid. I think we're getting another Solid Pearl combo. So I would check that out, actually. I would wait on that one. Yes, Tamara's Lefty also watches stuff. Is there a strong hybrid symmetrical available right now drawing a blank? No, because I think they discontinued the Danger now. I'll have to look on the website, but I don't think they have the Danger anymore. And we don't have, that's the thing, is that, and I don't really, the Danger feels more like a Pearl. That's the funny thing for me recently, is that all the Pearls feel like hybrids, and all the hybrids feel like Pearls. Like the Daredevil felt more like the hybrid to me than the Danger did, which was a hybrid. The Hypercell Fused feels like a Pearl. The Idle Pearl definitely feels like a Pearl for a difference. But the Intense and Intense Fire. The Intense Fire feels like the Pearl. It's longer and it's flippier. The Intense is super crazy early and stronger. But it's a Pearl. It feels more like a hybrid to me. So we just don't have a strong hybrid symmetrical available right now. Like I said, it's the Daredevil Danger in the HP3 line We haven't had a big hybrid symmetric ball in the Master line since the IQ Tour Fusion. And that was still R2S hybrid, so it just wasn't even that. It still wasn't even that strong. So it's not like it was a big core. And the other one is the drive is out, but it's just not. It's a higher RG, so it just doesn't act anything. And it's an R2S nano hybrid, so the drive doesn't feel like that big core, strong, symmetric hybrid that I think that you're after. Technically, it's got a bigger differential, but yeah. Gave it a treat. Mama gave her a treat. Mama gave them all treats. How's a High Road X compare to the High Road Pearl? Very, very, very similar. High Road X are a little quicker on the back end and hooks 3-ish boards more. Very similar shapes. They both get to the spot and they're really round off the spot. The High Road X being a polished solid, it's a little bit more. It's just a little bit more ball, but very, very similar shapes. Let's see. Pearl Idol versus OG Daredevil. Again, the OG Daredevil was different. It was longer and kind of a climbing shape end of the back end. It kind of shared more in common with the No Rules Pearl, which I think makes sense because they had the same cover, I believe. But it's a longer and then climbing kind of archy shape to it. The Pearl Idol is a lot of down and a lot of length and a lot of flip. So they're not very similar for me. How's the Winter Solid compare to the High Road X? Very different. Winter Solid is earlier and smoother. High Road X is really long and flippy. Now, if you took the High Road X to like 2000 or something, it might be more similar, but I think it's still going to be longer and quicker off the spot because the RG is higher on the High Road X and the differential a little bit lower. So not terribly similar. You definitely have them both in the same bag. I wouldn't knock the polish off my High Road X. I really like my High Road X with the polish on it. At the same token, I'm going to keep the box surface on the Winter Solid because I think as it lane shines, it's just going to get a little limp noodleish on the back end. So I think the Winter Solid's one to definitely keep the cover fresh on. When you keep the cover fresh, it's going to be pretty good. Bowled the Jayhawk today and did okay, average 183. What would your advice be for tomorrow? I wasn't there, so I can't really say. The girls looked really good playing straight up 10, so I think wherever you're playing at, it's a 41-foot pattern, and it looks like your prototypical what everybody would think of a sport shot. And it's a little bit too far right, doesn't come back, and it's a little bit inside, and hooks too much. And it's going to be a little bit different at Royal Crest versus Westridge. But the girls if they hit the brown tracer board, if they hit the tracer board on 10 at the break point, it was hitting the pocket. That was just the thing. So I would almost say play a league shot and just be a little bit more accurate with it. So wherever you just focus on the tracer board down lane. If you have something, I don't know what you throw, but if you have IQ Tour, Web Tour, use something solid and symmetrical. Something solid and symmetrical, and wherever you have to be, just aim for that tracer board. I think it's a tighter league shot. It's a flatter league shot, basically. It didn't push anybody closer to the gutter, didn't push anybody further inside. It was a shot that kept you honest, but was still pretty fair. So that's what I would say. What's your opinion on the best option for a benchmark ball without having to go for the GB3? Would like to find something in a Storm Roto line. IQ Tour Solid, Phase 2. High Road X with the shine knocked off of it, probably. Idle's too strong. So for a typical benchmark, you're looking Phase 2 IQ, probably IQ, maybe even Hustle Inc. On the low end, you'd probably have to take the shine off. 2,000, 3,000. IQ, it's just IQ Tour Solid. It's just hard to beat. It's always the default one that you go to. You never really want to go to it all the time. But it's just, there's a reason why it's almost 6 years old. There's a reason why Storm keeps some of these around. The High Road is 10 years old. The IQ Tour Solid is 6 years old. The High Road Pearl is 5. So there's reasons they keep these balls around. IQ Tour Solid, and it's not going anywhere either. It's going to be like the High Road. People, it's still way too great of a ball. People would throw a freaking fit if they discontinued the IQ. So the IQ Tour Solid is just the benchmark ball. Whenever you say benchmark ball, that's the IQ Tour is. They should put IQ Tour on it in the dictionary. So most of my 300s came from my virtual energy. Anything close to that now? Intense Fire is not far off. I believe the virtual energy was a hybrid. Intense Fire is close. Physics with Polish would probably be close. Virtual energy, I think, was like an NRG hybrid or something. So take a look at the physics. It would need some polish, but yeah, I think that take a look at the physics or Intense Fire. See which one looks closer to your eyes. High Road Pearl versus Idle. Wow, that's High Road Pearl and Idle Pearl are way different on the spectrum. Like the Idle Pearl's stupidly strong core. High Road Pearl's got a really high RG, so it's going to get down the lane and be kind of arky. Idle Pearl is earlier rolling and revving. It still gets down the lane pretty good, but then it's really sharp on the back end. So there's no comparison there for me. Daredevil Danger is no longer available. Just looked. I thought that they just recently discontinued it. I thought that with the recent stuff that they're getting rid of it because I didn't like it much to begin with, and it was just kind of weird. It didn't Daredevil. I was expecting a Daredevil and it didn't really Daredevil. Now I shot 300 with it in Tulsa last year, and so it might just go just out of nostalgia. Good heavy rolling ball in your opinion? Idle. That's the easy one. If somebody wants a heavy rolling, big hooking ball, Idle's the easy one. Just like benchmark balls, the IQ Tour. Heavy rolling, strong ball, Idle. Definitely. Yeah, the Tulsa tournament and the release dates of the balls, maybe another live stream 11/24. I do have Tulsa on the 17th and 18th or 18th and 19th or something, so it's coming up here in a couple weekends. And maybe another live stream on the 24th. That's blowout sale day, so maybe could make that work, but that's right after the release of the Idle Pearl and stuff. I do actually have to go start editing Angel's videos here sometime soon if anybody actually wants to see those tomorrow. I'm ready for heck in bed, but I can put a little bit of work in on them. Working on the video so it doesn't come out so late tomorrow night. Because I think it's probably going to be 5 or 6 o'clock before we get done with the tournament tomorrow night, and it's probably going to take me 3 or 4 hours to get her video done. So I'd like to get a little bit of work in on it tonight. Have Hypercell fused no rules Pearl Alpha Crux and haven't been able to use anything stronger than my polished critical in League. Was looking for step down ball from the critical. That's tough because I remember the critical kind of being like a physics-esque type shape or like a crux type shape. High Road. I'm thinking it's been a long time since I've seen the critical in action. High Road X. If you're looking for something similar in shape, it's going to be the High Road. If you want like a step down, you're probably looking more High Road X-ish. Being 200 moderately high rev rate, I was thinking either drive or High Road Nano. Which one would you say or even recommend? Let me put it this way. Belmo's balls, the drive, I see him throw the High Road Nano more. I like the drive for two-handers. It can miss the spot sometimes or be a little wonky. I find the full nano cover on the High Road Nano to make it the better ball. He throws it with polish on it a lot because I think it's a High Road-esque type read, which I know he likes, but the High Road's really too continuous. He doesn't carry as well with the High Road as he does with the High Road Nano. So the High Road Nano gives him kind of a High Road-ish look, but without the super sharp cutting finish through the pins. I would say High Road Nano. They should reintroduce the Prodigy with updates with Phil the Symmetrical. Actually, the Prodigy was... No, the Prodigy... Wow. Okay, so the Prodigy was symmetric. That's interesting. I forgot that. The physics is basically a Prodigy. I really like it. I thought I remembered the Prodigy being... ASIM, but it was in the Master line, I do remember. I do remember that. But the physics is a lot like the Prodigy. Really reminds me of it. But yes, just something hybrid in the master line. Something hybrid. And we're gonna have to get Chad on the clock here sometimes, or on the hot seat, and ask him why all the hybrid master line balls are going overseas. Thank you for the live chat. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Mel, for tuning in. Thank everybody for. I haven't checked the numbers on my videos here since I started this, but had a lot of people for the premiere. That was a lot of fun. I'm gonna keep doing that, definitely. That was a lot of fun. And then doing the live stream after this is pretty cool, because now you see the videos, everybody has questions, and instead of me getting to comments later, you can ask them all right here and talk about it. And this is one of the biggest live streams I've had too. We're almost at 100 people here, so that's very heckin' cool too. Benchmarks the IQ Tour Pro. Yes, if it was still around, everybody would have one of those. That's why they got so crazy when they re-released it, but it was overseas. So IQ Tour Pearl, definitely. Hustle HYB, cheaper IQ Tour Solid. Kind of, I prefer the IQ Tour Solid, but it's, again, that's what I said in the review. It's not far off. It really isn't. I didn't get along so well. My HYB was really, really lazy on the back end, but yeah, it's got those kind of vibes. During league game 1, I leave a lot of ringing 10s with my hypercell fuse, probably because the shot is fresh, and it's already a pretty sharp cover. It's pretty skid flippy cover, so it's going to get to the end of the lane, and then it's going to really jerk off the end of the lane. So I would actually say, finding the injury angle to carry or changing speed, take it to 3,000. Try that first. That'll smooth you, so it'll still have the strong back end of the hypercell fuse, which is why everybody likes it. But if you take it to 3,000 grit, it blends the transition a little bit better. And so I think that's what people had initially problems with it was just the cover was a little too clean, it was a little too sharp on the back end, and so once they took it to 3,000, it smoothed that out a little bit, and so that fixed it. I think if you took it to 3,000 grit, that would fix it. That seems to be the magic solution for the hypercell fused. That's the only way I've ever seen it look good, is at 1,000, 2,000, or 3,000. I don't see anybody that likes it and uses it with the polish on it. I just don't. But it's a really good ball when it's got some surface on it. So, do you throw the X Factor trifecta? I did not have the trifecta. That's like the only X Factor I didn't throw. I had the X Factor. I had the triple extreme. I had the triple X. What was the second X Factor? X Factor Deuce? I didn't have one of those. I didn't have the X Factor Deuce. I had the Fear Factor. So I had a lot of the X Factors. Just did not have the trifecta. Favorite ball release over the last year? Favorite ball right now? Holy crap. I'm getting along really well with my High Road X right now, and the physics has made me a lot of money. But I really like the idle too. I don't get to, that's the thing, is I really like the idle up here. I don't get to throw it as much. Physics or High Road X, I know that they just came out, but those are staying in the bag, and I've used them a lot since they've been out. Since I got them anyway. Some of the other ones, trying to think of what else came out. The Intense Fire, I really like that one too. So it's hard to say. My favorite ball, I'd have to say the High Road X. I have to say that I like the physics a lot, but I find myself using the High Road X a lot more. So basically, if I'm throwing either the Intense Fire or the physics or the High Road X pretty well on rotation. That is one of those three is what inevitably ends up getting on the lane and looking good. So. Virtual Energy was R2X hybrid. Virtual Gravity was R2X solid. Didn't get Nano until the Virtual Gravity. Okay. Makes more sense. Virtual Energy, I would still say physics with polish on it. I would still say physics with polish on it. It's shape, the shape is most similar. The shape is most similar. Winter Solid, a step above the Hustle Ink, definitely. Yep. Winter Solid is it's not, again, the Winter Solid feels more like an HP2 ball than like the Show. The Show Off was just so stupidly strong. And I think that the strengths of the lines have increased, but it's more proportionate to what the lines are now. It's not like you had a, God, what was like a Disturbed or something like that, which was before, whatever the solid ball was before the Show Off, and then they go to the Show Off. Like it was an arrow and a half stronger than anything that had been in the HP2 line before, so it just didn't make any sense. Still doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but the Idols are a lot stronger than the Daredevils, and the Winners are stronger than the ones that came in the line before them, but not quite, or I guess I don't want to say that. The Winner is a little bit weaker than the Wreck-'em, and the Winter Solid is weaker than the Show Off also. So they pulled it back a little bit. So there is a more clear and defined difference between HP1 balls and HP2 balls and HP3. They're stronger than they used to be, but at the same time, they make more sense now. You can step up from HP1 to HP2 instead of going, dear God, the Show Off is an HP3 ball. It just really is. It was so strong. And and the next step down that you had was something in the HP1 line, which was way, way weaker. So now they match up better. They fit better together. So, let's see. Prodigy, ETM. Prodigy is the same core and cover as the Marvel Pearl. Interesting. Just hadn't added it on the cover. EFT or ETM. Yeah, cool. Some difference between the Winter Solid and the Idol Solid. Crazy, ridiculous amounts of stuff. The Idol Solid cover is a nano-based formula, so it's right away it's going to be super strong. And the core is one of the biggest, strongest symmetric cores that you're going to find out there. It's got stronger numbers than some asymmetric cores out there, if my memory serves me right now. So it's it's quite a bit of difference between the Winter Solid and the Idol Solid. Idol Solid is an easy arrow and a half stronger. Winter Solid would be a good broken down lanes compared to an Intense. No, not really. Winter Solid is still a solid. I would prefer the Winner, like the Pearl, the original Winner, more on broken down lanes versus an Intense. An Intense is just crazy, ridiculous strong. Codex has actually been really good on broken down lanes because it's kind of a strong-ish ball. It gets way down the lane for as strong as it is. So I really like it. I really like it once the lanes do get broken down a little bit, or if you have super dry lanes, it actually works out better, even though it's technically kind of a little stronger-ish ball, or it's in the Thunder line as opposed to the Hot line, or like an HP1 ball or something like that. But I actually really like the High Road X on broken down lanes, even though it's technically stronger than it actually feels. Like my Intense on broken down lanes, that's heckin' crazy. Mine was a monster. Thanks for the multiple answers to my questions. That's what I do. IQ Tour is similar to any of the high roads. Not really, because it's kind of the anti-high road. The IQ Tour has a 249 RG and an 029 differential. So it's very low RG, very low differential. So it's going to roll, but it's not going to have a bunch of flare. So it's not going to be... It's going to roll early, and it's going to be smoother, more controlled on the back end, where high roads are kind of built the opposite way. They've got a higher RG so that they get down the lane or delay their roll to a lot further down the lane, and they've got a higher differential. I think they're like 257046 or something like that. So they're meant to kind of get down the lane and then create a lot more shape. So the high road balls are kind of the anti-IQ Tour balls. Yeah. Submit your final. Okay, yeah. So the wife's cutting me off. That's hilarious. Because yeah, there's still 90 people watching. I could keep doing it. I could keep doing it longer. Hit the little $ button there and throw me a tip. But the best tip is to listen to the wife. So yeah, so we're probably going to do, if you have any final questions, let's do this now so I can cut it off at 9 so that I can finish her video up, because I know that you guys want to see that video too, and so the sooner I get off of here, the sooner I get to working on that video, and the sooner you guys get to see it. So we've had a good time here, but I think it needs to come to an end here pretty soon so I can get to heck and work. What's similar to the Fire Road? Wow, that's an old one. Fire Road, High Road, or a High Road Pearl, really? Best ball for wet, dry, over, under, IQ Tour Solid. It's just the answer for most things. Best ball for wet, dry, over, under. The IQ Tour Solid's going to smooth everything out. That's why it's such a great, that's why it's been around for so long. That's why everybody loves on sport conditions. Specifically because it blends the wet and the dry well. And that's what you get a lot of on sport patterns is wet and dry. You got sharp back ends, you've got wetter outside, drier inside. It blends everything so nice. That's why it's been so popular. That's why it's been around for so long. Sorry, Brandon Chan. Do you have a quick question? Brandon, if you have a quick question, I'll give you a few minutes. Definitely welcome, Andrew. Thanks for everybody showing up. I'm kind of excited to go see what kind of numbers. Actually, I'm going to check that right now before I get off. If you can come up with anything, Brandon. Yeah, when he gets started, he won't want to stop until it's done. So it'll be midnight before he goes to bed. Figure schedule another live stream, yeah. I'm kind of excited to see how many views we've gotten in the last hour and a half. So I'm going to check that out right now. Hopefully it's not disappointing. That's not bad. It's actually not bad. Almost 300 views on the Idle Pearl review and 260 on the Winter Solid review. So if we're just being up for a little over an hour, it's really not bad. They start to kind of gain some traction later. So I imagine by the time I wake up tomorrow, I'll have 1,000 or 1,500 views. more than the poison. Matchup similar to Punch Lights Out? No. The Punch and Lights Out. Lights Out was really similar to the Hectic. The Punch Out was basically a wrecker or like an all-out show-off. That type of ball. Matchup's not similar. Not similar. Yeah. 900 Global Shadow Ops for review. I am only Stormer Roto Grip, and for some odd reason, Storm owns 900 Global, but they prefer to operate as separate companies. Now, I know that 900 Global people can throw Storm Ices because they don't have a plastic ball of their own. Why they don't let us throw 900 Global stuff, I don't know. I would like to throw 900 Global stuff because they make some good stuff. Now, they've made a lot of really similar. I would like to throw a Honey Badger. I would like to throw a Honey Badger. That's one kind of different look that we have. Badger, basically a high road. X Tour or whatever they have, basically a whatever tour thing that they just came out with. Basically an IQ Tour Solid. Timeless or High Road X? I prefer the High Road X. Higher rev rates might like the Timeless because the High Road X is really quick on the spot. Timeless was specifically built to be a little bit slower and flatter through the pocket for two-handers that need the more control on the back end. So higher rev rate Timeless, lower rev rate High Road X. Real quick. Got it in. You get an Idle Pearl to open, lanes up as a step down from the Halo. It doesn't feel like a open the lane up type ball. Not really. I don't know what else I'd say. Now, watch Tamer's video and might watch Angel's video. And I'm going to drill another one, definitely. That's on the Christmas list. That's on a really soon list. Step down from the Halo. Maybe? Actually, they kind of, for me, they kind of shape similar, actually. They go a little bit straighter on the back end. So, actually, that's plausible. I could see that. Two-hander Brandon, I would go Timeless. High Road X is going to be way too long and way too crazy on the back end for you. You're either going to have to change the surface on the High Road X. Now, the Timelesses just did get discontinued too, so you might have a little trouble finding it. Probably won't have trouble finding them. Timeless was built for two-handers. Get a Timeless. Recommend the IQ Tour when wet to inside and dry the outside. I would get a Hustle Inc. or a High Road X and play the inside. Don't play the outside. High Road X has been really good for me. Playing further right with my feet and further left with my target, and just kind of playing the oil in the middle, getting it to slide, and then finish in the middle instead of trying to get it to the outside and get it to bounce. Really hard to bounce a ball successfully on a really wet, dry house shot. High Road X, really. Did you hear about Pete Weber's rant? I witnessed Pete Weber's rant. I was at the U.S. Open. I saw what happened, what led up to it. Then we listened to it live when we heard that Lucas was talking to him, and so we were actually in the bar at North Rock in AJ's when Pete was talking to Lucas, and so we turned it on and had to listen to it. He was not happy, and yeah, he didn't get a whole lot of warm-up time, and his hip was hurting him, and then he got started, and he was lofting a high road over the left gutter on that 37-foot shorter pattern. Bad ball choice, but he was hurting, he was standing up. Not a good situation at all. He was heckin' pissed. That's all I'm going to say about that. Oh, damn. Thanks James, for the $10. Really appreciated. Very, very much appreciated. It helps, it helps, it helps. Thank you so much. All right. I'm going to... The wife said 9 o'clock. It is 9 o'clock. I'm in love with my timeless. Yeah, Angel likes the timeless. And that's the other thing, is it's good for slower speeds or two-handers. So that's totally a thing. Compare the High Road X and the Sonic. I would if there was a comparison. Crazy, crazy, crazy different. Sonic is really, really early and archy. High Road X is really, really long and strong. That's the best way I can say it. Sonic, that crazy, 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 crazy early and chuggy. It shares more in common with the Intense. $10,000 Monopoly money. That's awesome. Thank you for your opinion. Yep. Timeless. I do like my timeless. Yeah, if you don't find a timeless, Belmo really liked the High Road, but I don't think you're going to have any problem finding a timeless. They've only been discontinued for like a month. So I think that if you go into Facebook and go to like the Storm Roto wanted for sale trade whatever forum and say ISO 15 timeless or whatever, you're going to find a bunch of them, and they're not going to be too expensive. ISO in search of. I'm like, why are they saying ISO? ISO this, ISO that. I didn't understand. I'm almost 40 though. Anyhow, that's going to be it. No more questions. Thanks everybody for watching. We're still at 90-some viewers. This is like the best live stream I've had. So thanks everybody for watching. Thank you for tuning into the previews of the videos. They were a lot of fun. I'm going to go get started on Angel's video for the Idle Pearl and Winter Solid. So we're going to get that in the works. Hopefully we'll have that tomorrow night. Also, go to Streaming Bowling, the channel on YouTube, if you want to watch some good collegiate bowling tomorrow. Have some great teams. Wichita State is there. They're going to be on the streams. Midland University. The Baker girls are very good. The Ottawa boys team is pretty good, and their girls are pretty good also. So we got a couple of local teams that are really good. So if you want to tune into some good bowling, we've got 16 games of Baker starting at 9:30 a.m. Central for the girls tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Central for the boys tomorrow. Then we have the finals at 1 p.m. For the girls, 2 p.m. for the boys. But it's a good time. I'm going to be running commentary for the girls. And he has a lot of collegiate tournaments, and collegiate tournaments are just the most fun to be at and watch and everything else. So find Streaming Bowling on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, and come watch us tomorrow. It's a lot of fun. Thanks a bunch, you guys. We're out. Angel's video will be up tomorrow night, most likely. Thank you, guys. Done. This thing is still complaining at me. Okay, low bandwidth. You've been low bandwidth the whole time, Susan. Okay, see ya.